Mission Impossible 7 and 8 they've had so many production problems right now. In a COVID world, people like not keeping their masks on. Very famously, Tom Cruise a few weeks ago just cursed out his entire crew and staff, saying like, "You guys are breaking COVID protocols. If you do this, we get shut down. People lose their jobs. So much money is riding on this. You'll get fired. We'll get fired. Stop it." So it's been kind of a touch and go scenario. Well, even before the pandemic started, it was announced that they were filming Mission Impossible 7 and 8 back to back, which is such an ambitious move. Such an ambitious move. Well, now it's kind of being reported that Mission Impossible 7 and 8 are no longer going to be shooting back to back. They're going to shoot Mission Impossible 7, get that in the can, get it off to the studio for editing and post-production and all that stuff. And then it appears Tom Cruise, like, so much time has gone by in the production phase. Now it's time to go on and start promoting other films that Tom Cruise has been filming, like Top Gun Maverick. Tom Cruise kind of needs to take a break from Mission Impossible, and this is Paramount's doing. This is not Tom Cruise saying, "Hey, maybe I should take some time off from Mission Impossible and go promote my Top Gun movie." This is kind of the heavier hand of Paramount saying, like, you kind of need its time. Like, Top Gun Maverick's going to start coming out at the time that you finish filming Mission Impossible 7. Now, what's interesting about this article from Deadline is that they point out some interesting things where the gap isn't that huge. Right here in the middle of the article, it says, sources said that this is simply down to the shifting release calendar. Star Tom Cruise will now be needed on promotional duties by the studio for Top Gun Maverick ahead of the film's planned release on July 2nd. And will be out of action for a period. Once that film has rolled out, hopefully to packed cinemas in a post-COVID world, they're referring to Top Gun Maverick, production on Mission Impossible 8 can begin, meaning that the gap shouldn't be too impactful. So while, yes, it definitely looks like they're not going to be exactly filming Mission Impossible 7 and 8 back to back, they're going to have like a small window of like, all right, we're going to take like a month off from filming and then we're going to jump right back into production. Especially being that Mission Impossible 7 is slated to come out November of this year. Mission Impossible 8 is slated to come out in November of next year. So that's a very ambitious schedule. The only other time that I can think of like a spy action thriller coming out every year within the same franchise is James Bond back in the 1960s. Think about that for a second. When the James Bond franchise started in 1962, they did Dr. No in 1962. 1963 was From Russia with Love. 1964 was Goldfinger. It was after that that they started doing it every other year. Not to say that they couldn't have done it every year, but the production scale started ramping up. By Goldfinger, Sean Connery was the biggest actor on the planet. He was the highest paid actor on the planet at the time. You know, this action franchise was just snowballing itself into A, existence, and B, into legend. And now, fast forward to the 90s, we start the Mission Impossible series. And it had been, 1996 was the first Mission Impossible film. Fast forward 4 years, and then we get Mission Impossible 2. Fast forward another 5 years, we get Mission Impossible 3. Fast forward even more, you know, like it has taken so much time, many years in between each Mission Impossible film. Now with Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation, and now with my personal favorite, Fallout, they have been happening in closer succession with each other. But this is quite an ambitious move, especially if they have to take a little time, a little break off so that Tom Cruise can go promote Top Gun Maverick. It's incredibly ambitious for them to be coming out with 2 Mission Impossible films, yes, back to back, but 1 year in apart from their own release. The James Bond franchise can't even do that right now. I find this ridiculously fascinating. Dominica, I know you're not the biggest Tom Cruise fan. You're not the biggest Mission Impossible fan. I know that you do like your action movies and high adventure type stuff. But how does this strike you in terms of the production schedule? Do you think this is a smart move? Should they hold on to the November 2022 release date for Mission Impossible 8, or should they push it back a little bit? Like, what are your general thoughts here?
Well, I guess it depends on when they're actually going to start filming number 8.
It's possible they've
It's a little
already
unclear
started.
for the timeline on that.
It's possible that they've already started a little bit because, they have been public in saying they're going to film 7 and 8 back to back, which if they need the same set pieces, why not just film what you need for the 8th film while you're filming the 7th? It's a little bit more economical in that regard.
Right. So I'm thinking, like, because it's still only February 2021, and the release date is 22, right? So it's like almost 2 years away still. And from my understanding, to shoot an action film, like once you've got the script, it's usually like about 2 years from when you start shooting to when it's released,
Yeah,
right? So it seems doable to me based on what my understanding
that's
is.
fair. Yeah, that's totally fair. I see this as an interesting opportunity to kind of show how organized you can be, or rather how organized one needs to be for a production like this, because there's been this idea within Hollywood that in order to make, let's say, an Avengers Endgame, because it was the highest grossing movie of all time, right? So with Avengers Endgame, had one of the highest budgets. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it was in like the $300 million. You know what? I'm just gonna look it up. Let's just look it up real quick. Avengers Endgame budget. Okay. Yeah. $356 million was the budget of Avengers Endgame. So, to advertise the movie, you have to double your production budget. So if your production budget is $350 million, now you have to double that. So now we're at what, $700 million? And that's not even paying the movie theaters to play your movie. You haven't even paid your movie theaters to play your movie yet. So you have to multiply that times 1.5. Now we're looking at $1 billion, little over $1 billion just to break even. That's on a production budget of $350 million. So it's not that I'm necessarily opposed to it, but it does two things. One, kind of wasting money. I don't want to say wasting money, because Avengers Endgame was lovely. I took my issues with it, but like, it's part of the whole franchise and whatever, right? It's a wonderful movie. Kind of, sort of. Do you like that?
Sorry, I'm a Marvel nerd, so I'm just like,
you're not a Marvel fan?
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut right now.
Dude, I'm sorry. Did I hear you correctly? You're not a Marvel fan?
No, I am. I'm a Marvel nerd, so I'm just like quietly
I mean, like, they were
thinking
whatever.
about.
But the other thing that it does with having such high production costs is that in turn, now we, the consumers, inevitably have to pay a little bit more. If movie tickets were, I think the national average approximately right now is like $10 a movie ticket. It all depends on where you live and whatever, but like, some people in some places, movie tickets are $5. Other places, like where I live, $25. If you want to go see a movie, you're gonna have to pay $25. So it kind of means that some of these production prices, if they're going up, that means your movie ticket goes up. So that profit margins can stay the same or, increase a little bit. So there's kind of been this idea, and I do like this Mission Impossible idea of filming. If you know you're going to do 7 and 8, and it seems like there hasn't been any confirmation on this, but it seems like 7 will be setting up the first half of one story, and 8 will be kind of like spiking the volleyball down a little bit, you know? So it kind of seems like they're playing into the same story. If you know you're going to do it, it kind of makes sense to go about it this way. Do you see it any other way, Dominica?
Yeah, I mean, I personally, if the story is kind of in a longer story, like if there's multiple movies in a longer story, I do appreciate being able to see them closer together for sure.
Makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference. But the big question for you guys is, what do you think of Mission Impossible 7 and 8 no longer filming back to back? And again, it goes along with a huge asterisk, you know? Just because they're not filming back to back, they still kind of will. Like, they're going to take a small break in the middle between 7 and 8 so Tom Cruise can go off and promote his movie, and then they'll come right back to production, you know? A lot of the heavy lifting, it seems, has already been worked out and finagled. But like I said, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings? Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know what those are. All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what Tony Stark's Iron Man would want you to do.